welcome back. I'm so glad that you've decided to join us again today. You've made a conscious decision to get stronger and to improve your independence. Today we're going to work on upper body strength, lower body strength. That means your arms, your legs, your back, and we're even going to work on your posture. So let's get warmed up. We're going to progress a little bit further than we did last time we got together. This is our third program in a series of 8, and each time we meet we're going to progress just a little bit further. So I've got my friends here today, Gina and Clay, Susan, and Lynn. So let's get in a good seated posture. I'd like for you to put an imaginary string in the top of your head and stick it to the ceiling. Now let's go ahead and roll our shoulders back and down. And let's back our ears up right over our shoulders. Feet are flat on the floor. In fact, we can just barely see our toes peeking out past our knees. Let's go ahead and take a deep breath in into the belly. Expand your belly. And now as you exhale, just let your belly sink. Just getting focused. We're working on some good breathing exercises here. Good. Stay with that breath. Inhaling into the belly. Exhaling and letting the belly fall. Stay with that. Do that a couple more times. Get comfortable with that. And then we're going to add some movement. So staying nice and tall. Let's go ahead and look over our shoulder to the right. Just a nice, easy stretch. And now slowly come back to center, and then I'd like for you to look to the left. Nice and easy. Let's come back to center. Let's do that again. Once more on each side. And now center, and one more to the left. And then come back to center. Great. Let's work down the body. Let's stay one more time with the neck though. Go ahead and bring your ear to your shoulder, right ear to right shoulder. And now bring your head back up to center. Bring left ear to left shoulder. And now come back up to center. Let's do that once more on each side. This should feel good. Here's our last one, left ear to left shoulder. And coming back up to center. Great. Let's get into our shoulders. I'd like for you to bring them up to your ears and then lower them down. Just a nice lift and lower. Smooth moving here. So I've got a few rules as we go through these exercises together, and one of them is I'd like for you to stay in a pain-free range. So in other words, I don't want you to create any pain while we're working here together. Be very mindful if you already have a particular body part that has pain associated with it. Maybe you have a shoulder that doesn't work the same or like it used to. Maybe you've got a knee that acts up. Stay in a pain-free range with those body parts. Here's our last shoulder lift, and then let's lower back down. Great, we're gonna change direction here. So this time roll your shoulders forward and then roll them back. And then we'll roll forward and roll back. So watch my knuckles. The knuckles are coming forward here, and then as we roll back, the palms open. So we're really getting a good rotation at the shoulder joint. That looks great. We're in our pain-free range. We're nice and low. Now if you'd like, you can bring your arms up just a little bit higher. But if that hurts, what should you do? You should bring your arms lower again, but keep moving. Good. I love this one because I get a nice upper back stretch right here. And then as I open, I can feel a nice stretch in the chest. Let's do one more. And let's bring these arms back and place them back down at your sides. All right, moving down a little bit lower into the arms, we're going to work on the biceps. So turn your palms up. And now let's bend the elbows, bringing the palms towards the shoulders, and then extend the arms. Just a nice bend and extend. Check your breathing. Are we all breathing? It's really easy to hold the breath. So if you do that, notice it and let it go. Nice and fluid here. All right, I'm going to add something. So I want you to bring the palms up. Now turn around, straighten your arms, and reach behind you. Let's come back to where we started, turning the palms, bending the elbows, rotating, straightening, and reaching. Good. Again, check this out. Are you in a pain-free range? Does this hurt? How are your elbows? How are your shoulders? We've got one more to do. Rotating, straightening, and reaching. Let's bring the arms right back down to our sides. Go ahead and shake out your shoulders. Let's stay with the shoulders. This time we're going to lift the arms up right out in front of us, starting low and then lowering back down. So the arms are long, shoulders are relaxed, and you'll recognize some of these things that we're doing, we'll do later with some resistance in our hands. And we'll talk about that as we get there. But just pay attention to what we're doing, how we're moving, and we'll move this way throughout the duration of our 30 minutes together. Notice I'm coming up a little bit higher with every lift, still staying pain-free. So again, if this hurts, just come a little lower, but keep going. Let's do one more. This time I'd like for you to leave the arms up, bend the elbows, palms right out to the sides. We're going to do a little overhead press, so a little lift. Again, starting small. Check it out. Make sure we're pain-free. And if you'd like, you can start to make this a little bit larger. We're in the shoulders. We're feeling the upper back here. We're still lengthening through our spine, so that string in the top of the head is pulling us nice and tall, almost lifting us off of the chair, making us feel light. Here's our last one. Let's bring these arms back down. Give them a shake. Let's change the direction with our arms. So we're going to bring our arms out to our side, so we need to make sure we've got plenty of room. So palms face our thighs. We're going to lift the arms up, starting again low, and then lowering back down. Arms coming out like wings. Nice and easy. Let's check our breathing. Nice fluid breath. So how about an exhale, inhale, being very mindful, exhale, and inhale. Here's our last one. And let's lower the arms right back down to our sides. Here's a little warm up for our upper back. This is a really nice one for our posture. So what I'd like for you to do is think about your shoulder blades. I want you to take your shoulder blades and squeeze them back behind you and a little pull down, and now release. It's hard to see on TV what we're doing, but I want you to imagine that you've got a tennis ball between your shoulder blades. You're going to squeeze that tennis ball and then release. Squeeze the ball and release. It's not a huge move, but it's all about the upper back, the shoulder blades, posture. Improve your posture right here. Here's our last one. All right, we're going to move down the body a little bit lower into the belly. So this is our transversus abdominis, a really good functional muscle that's protective of our spine. So take your belly and squeeze it tight to the spine. Pull it in nice and tight. And now release. Squeeze and release. So you can see my hand moving as I draw the belly in and see it come back out as I release. Squeezing the belly, making a big belly. Feel that muscle work. Feel how much stronger your back gets as you do that. Tighten. Now I'm not pushing with my hand. I'm pulling with my belly. Here's our last one. And then release. Okay, here's a fun one. This one will make you smile, right, gang? It'll make us smile. We're sitting on some muscles here. So I want you to take the muscles you're sitting on and squeeze them tight and release. So you can see us doing it because we're coming up off of our chair about an inch. Squeezing and releasing. Squeezing the sitting muscles. Now these muscles are part of our legs. So they're really important to keep these muscles strong for doing things like getting up from a chair, picking things up off the ground. They can help give us extra strength when we're using our legs. You've heard people say, lift with your legs. These are part of our legs, so squeeze them. Here's our last one. And now release. Good. We're going to move down to the feet, so I'd like for you to tap your toes. Warming up the ankles, the calves, and the shins. Now we're still sitting nice and tall. Where's that string in the top of your head? We're all sitting good and tall, right? It's so easy for the spine to kind of want to release and relax. It's work just to sit tall. So anytime you notice that, fix it. Now let's change. Put the toes down and lift the heels. Heels up and down. Good. Now we have live classes here in Calaveras County that you're welcome to come to. We have classes in San Andreas. We have a class in West Point. So you can come and do this class with other people right next to you. So I'd encourage you to do that. Now from here, I want you to put your feet back down and just take this to a little march, keeping your knees low to the chair, especially if you have a hip replacement. So here's our first safety precaution. If you have a hip replacement, keep your thighs attached to the chair. My thighs are attached to the chair even though I'm picking my feet up. Good. Okay, now adding a little kick. So we're in the hips now. I want to take you to the knees. Little kick, little kick, little kick. Make this as small as you want it to be, or you can make it a little larger. Good, Lynn. Great. All right, here's another fun one. This one's all about coordination, all about the hips and coordination. So we're going to plant these feet back down. I'm actually going to scooch towards the end of my chair a little bit, so scooch if you need to. This one's called out, out, in. It's great for the brain. It's a little confusing, but you do it, and it's a strengthener for our brain as well as our hips. So we'll do it slow. We're going to take our right leg out, left leg out, right leg in, left leg in. It's called out, out, in. Notice my feet are in line with my knees. My ankles are in line with my knees. All right, here's where it gets a little bit more challenging. We're going to add an arm. The arm goes out, out, in, out, out, in. You can tell we've all been practicing for a while, because sometimes this isn't always easy right at first. Now we're going to go just a little bit faster. Out, out, in, out, out, in. Two more. Good. Last one. Great. Let's come right back down into our posture. So now your body should be a little bit warmer than it was when you first sat down and turned the TV on. Our joints have fluids flowing through them. They're ready for a little bit more strengthening movement. So what we're going to do is we've got some different equipment here. I'm using an Exertube. Susan and Gina are using hand weights. If you don't have an Exertube, if you don't have hand weights, follow along anyway. You can still get some nice results. Clay and Lynn and I all have the Exertube. So with the Exertube, we're going to put this underneath our feet and secure it. So if you have one of these, secure it under the feet. If you don't, if you've got your hand weights, hold them right long at your sides. We're going to go for our arms first and work on strengthening the muscles in our arms. So arms are hanging long. We're going to check that spine and make sure it's nice and tall. So pull that string right through the top of your head. Let's start with a big breath in. Now as you exhale, we're just going to bend the elbows. Inhale and extend the arms. Exhale, bend. Inhale, extend. Now if you're holding on to something, whether it be hand weights or tubing, or maybe you've got something else you're holding on to that's working as resistance, make sure you've got a loose grip, so don't strangle whatever's in your hands. Loose grip. We're going to go for about 8 repetitions today. In our last session we did 6, so we're progressing a little bit here. So I think we've got 2 left. Here's our last one. Nice. Now we bring the arms back down. I'm going to take you right over to the backs of the arms. So we're going to turn our arms around so the knuckles are facing straight ahead. Arms are still good and long. I'd like for you to go ahead and pull those shoulder blades together gently. So we're not over squeezing the tennis ball, but we have a grip on the tennis ball between the shoulder blades. This is the back of the arms. Let's again start with a breath in. As you exhale, I'd like for you to reach backwards. Inhale, come back to the thighs. Exhaling back, inhaling forward. Now if you've chosen to use some sort of resistance at home, what's really important is our posture and our form. So maybe you're holding some resistance that is really heavy for you, and you're not able to control it. That would be a good indicator that it's too much. So put it down. Do what you can control. Think posture first, stability, spine length. Give me 2 more here. Big inhale. Here's our last one. Exhale and release. Good. Let's take a stretch break. So let's just put our equipment to the side for a moment. Let's bring our palms towards the floor. I'm going to give you 2 stretches, one for each of the muscles that we just used. So palms pressed towards the floor. We're feeling a stretch through the inner arm here. Should be pain-free. This should actually feel kind of good, maybe a little uncomfortable. Let's breathe while we're here. Now go ahead and release your arms. Let's take our right hand to our right shoulder. Now we're going to stretch the back of the arm or the tricep. Go ahead and bring this elbow so it's pointing straight ahead. Now reach it up towards the ceiling. Now really important here, pain-free range. If you've got a shoulder injury, a shoulder impingement, some reason why your shoulder won't go here, don't force it. Be easy on yourself. And just stretching where you're able to go can keep you nice and flexible in that joint, can keep you mobile in the joint. Let's go ahead and release this arm down. Give it a little shake. Let's do the same thing to the other side. So left hand to left shoulder. Go ahead and point that elbow straight ahead and give it a lift upwards. Again, maybe this shoulder's the one that doesn't work the same. Maybe this one's more flexible. Let's breathe. And let's release right back down. Great. All right, we're going to move into 2 leg exercises. These leg exercises can be done sitting or standing. Today, we're going to demonstrate them both ways. Lynn, Susan, and Clay and I will stand. Gina will stay seated and do the same exercise. So wherever you feel most confident, that's where I want you to be. So let's stand up. And let's turn our chairs sideways so we've got something to hold on to. Gina, you stay right where you are. We're going to put all of our body weight on the leg closest to the chair here. Hold on for support. So maybe you're holding onto a counter or a table or the wall. Hold on to something so you don't fall. It's a little balance here. So again, we're lifted tall. Stay tall. Let's take a big breath. On our exhale, we're just simply going to bend the knee and start to lift the foot up off of the floor. And then go ahead and put that foot back down. So let's exhale, bend the knee, the foot follows. Inhale, lower back down. Exhaling up. So now you can see Gina here doing the same thing sitting in the chair. Here's your safety precaution. Remember, just like at the beginning, if you have a hip replacement, the thigh stays attached to the chair. You can still find a lift. Great. Pain-free range. Here's our last 2. Big exhale as you do the last one, and let's release back down. Transferring our body weight so it's even on both legs. Let's do the same thing on the other side. So put your chair on the other side of you. You might have to turn your back to the camera if you, or to the TV if you are standing against a counter or a wall. Take care of yourself. Let's go ahead and put all of our body weight again into the leg closest to the wall or the chair, your support. Tall spine. Let's inhale again. Exhale, bend the knee, lift the toes up off the floor, inhale and put it back down. So I'm going to turn sideways so you can see the bend in the knee and the lowering back down. Bending and lowering. Posture is tall. We're breathing. I think we've got 3 left. Here's our last 2. Working on balance. Last one, and let's put that foot back down. Give the legs a little shake. Let's do one more while we're here. This one's all about the inner and outer thigh. Really nice one for balance. So again, we're going to keep our body weight in the leg closest to our support. Let's get good and tall. This one goes just like out, out, in that we did in the warm-up. Let's inhale. Now as you exhale, we're going to first bend the knee, lift the foot. Now rotate that hip open. Put the foot down. It's lift, rotate, foot down. Lift, rotate, and down. Like you're opening and closing a door. And our hip is the hinge. So now my toes are pointing sideways. Perfect, Susan. And now my toes are pointing straight ahead. Toes turn sideways. Good. And straight ahead. Feel the inner thigh pull the leg in. Here's our last one. Outer thigh pulls the leg out. And let's finish this one. Good. Body weight even between both feet. Give the legs a shake. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Back to our base of support. Strong base of support. Body weight is in the leg close to the support. Spine is tall. Notice how often I go back to that tall spine. Let's inhale. Exhale, bending the knee, rotating the hip, putting the foot down. Lift, rotate, and down. This move can be as large or as small as you need it to be, but always remember, it needs to stay below the hip. So if you're feeling really strong and you want to lift that knee up really high, just keep it below hip level. You don't need to lift it up that high. Great. Still breathing. Keeping this knee nice and straight, so there shouldn't be any twisting happening over here. Here's our last one. And back to center. Let's go ahead and shake out the legs. We'll come back to our chair now, so we'll all have a seat. Turning our chairs back straight ahead. We're going to follow with a nice stretch for the hip flexors, which we were just working on. This is called a hip flexor stretch, and we're going to get into a proposal pose to do it. So we're all going to go ahead and turn to the right. We're on the edge of our chair. We're holding on to our chair. We've got the top of the left foot pointing towards the floor and the left knee pointing towards the floor. If this hurts, bring your left knee towards you. If it's uncomfortable, stay there and breathe. Now tuck your tailbone under, tall spine. We're pulling up nice and tall. And we're breathing. Great, let's bring this left leg back to center. Let's gently turn to center, and we're going to go all the way around to the left. On the edge of our chair, holding on, right knee pointing towards the floor, right foot facing the floor. Again, if this hurts, knee comes towards you. If it doesn't hurt, if it's uncomfortable, stay there and breathe. Tuck the tailbone, sit tall. Nice work. Now let's bring our right foot back to the floor, gently come back to center. Let's move along. We're going to move into the arms, work on our shoulders. So we'll get our equipment again. Either hand weights in hand, extra tube under feet, or go without any equipment. Gina, is this one okay on your neck?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you have a particular injury that you need to be aware of, and maybe there's a particular exercise that you need to go without resistance, remember which one that one is, and remember not to use it. We've got long arms hanging at our sides. We've got a lifted spine. Shoulders are gently shrugged back and down. Little tiny, tiny squeeze on the tennis ball. Let's inhale. Now exhale, we're doing our front raise, just lifting out to the front. Great inhale to lower back down. Remember this from our warm-up? We did the same thing, but we didn't have any resistance. Exhaling and inhaling. We'll go for about 8 here. Stay tall in the spine. Shoulders should be relaxed back and down. Here's our last one, and now release. We're going to stay with our shoulders, taking it out to the side. So we're just going to rotate the knuckles out sideways. So my palms are facing my thighs. Shoulders stay shrugged back or anchored. Let's inhale. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. Exhaling up. Good modification, Gina. Gina's protecting her neck by putting the weights down. That's the perfect thing you can do. Don't do what everybody else is doing if it hurts you. We're almost there. This is our last strength exercise today. Let's do 2 more. And here's our last one. Wow, we did it. All the tough stuff is done. We're going to get rid of our equipment. We're going to finish with the last few minutes with just some gentle stretches. So I'd like to go back to our tall posture. Let's dangle our arms at our sides and gently look over our shoulder to the right. This time I'd like for you to just hold the stretch. Breathe while you hold the stretch. Relaxing the shoulders. And now gently turn back to center. And let's look over the left shoulder. Again, staying right here in the stretch and breathing. And now let's come back to center. Now this time right ear to right shoulder. following some of the same stretches we did to begin with, because they're good, valuable stretches, but this time we're just doing them much more slowly. My shoulders are hanging heavy, so they're not pulled up to my ears, they're pulled down. Let's come back to center, and then bring left ear to left shoulder. Find your breath. Let your shoulders hang heavy. And let's come back up to center. Now go ahead and bring both arms behind you. If you're sitting in a chair like we are, you can hold on to the chair. If you're not sitting in a chair with a back or you're standing, you can lace your fingers behind your back. The point is to open the chest and open the shoulders. So again, find pain-free here. Find some breath. Let it go. Feel the stretch in the chest, the stretch in the shoulders. Feel the squeeze of the tennis ball between the shoulder blades. And now let's release. Let's come towards the end of our chair, and let's extend both legs out to the front, heels to the floor. And I'd like for you to go right back to the spine, lift it up nice and tall, shoulders stay back and down. Now, if you're pain-free here, you can add a little bit by pulling the toes towards you. So we're getting some hamstring stretch, back of the upper leg, some stretch in the lower leg and the calves. Comfortable breathing. Now let's point both feet, stretching the shins and the ankles. And let's bend the knees, walk the feet back in. Let's go ahead and hold on to the left side of our chair and just kind of tip over to the right. Just kind of feel that stretch through the side body, lengthening the spine, so we're kind of like the shape of a rainbow with the spine. Now come back up to center. Let's do the same thing to the other side. This is very controlled. We're holding on to the right side of our chair. We're lifting our spine and tipping to the left. Great. You've done a really nice job. I'm so glad you came back today. We're going to do this again, and we're going to progress just a little bit further. Let's come back up to center. Let's take another big breath. So tune in again. We'll work a little bit more, challenge your body, and get stronger. Thank you for joining us.